Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Asen Wasasen. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadet. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Grand Rising, everybody. We are so excited to be here this morning. I'm bringing in my guest, the Rockstar Coach, Michelle Froedge. Let me just bring her on. Hello.
Grand Rising, everyone.
So, apparently I didn't take care of this background. So, this is an exciting show today. And, we're talking about shifting your mindset about healing, right? Which, for me, that's my love language, right?
That's your jam, so to speak.
My jam. And I've really had to shift it, actually, even more in the last 3 weeks. I've had to make some major changes that were completely... I had to learn more. So we're going to talk about that because I think that, as you know, Michelle, God teaches us so that we can teach others. Mm-hmm. Especially you and I. He does that for everybody, but it really shows up a lot for you and I, right? So I'm just going to kind of talk about real quick, read our show description. So shifting your mindset about healing, right? So we want to know, are you confused about how to pursue your health, right? And do you know if you're participating in sick care or are you participating in healing? And one, which is sick care, is masking, and one gets to the root cause, which is healing. And all disease, wait for it, starts with your thoughts. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it, but don't really smoke, okay? Because I really don't want you to smoke.
No, that's not good.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So how do we manifest good thoughts and self-love in a world where we have been programmed differently than that? And then I'm going to add a line to this description. And where is that programming coming from? Right?
I think we're opening Pandora's box this morning.
Ooh. Well, Andrew and I watched a show last night. It was on Rapture. It was on Amazon or something. I don't know what it was on. He navigates the TV because I don't even know how to use it anymore. It got complicated. Million channels, right? And so, the commercials, the show was great. The commercials made me depressed. I got really depressed.
Oh, there was commercials in the show. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And every other commercial, well, every time there was a commercial, they ran, I won't say which company it was, but a big pharma, right? And they're showing people, a woman, a child, or no, it wasn't a child, adult people though, walking into a store, and they're indicating what vaccine they're getting, like not relative to what's but it was for, I don't even remember what it was for. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there used to be a day where we were not allowed to promote drugs. And it occurs to me, Big Pharma is the biggest drug dealer in the world.
Oh yeah, I was actually just having this conversation Sunday night with some girlfriends of mine, and one of them is not she was born outside of this country. Mm-hmm. And she said, oh yeah, no, they're not even allowed to do any medical drug shot, anything. No advertising for that at all, where she's from. And I believe a lot of Europe is the same way. And there's a very good reason for that. She said, in my country, we went to the doctor, and first of all, there's this side of it. She said, we trusted the doctor to tell us what we needed. Okay, right. So there's that, and we won't even go there. But
because if you do,
you trust. Okay, so you're trusting, and so she said, why would I, not having stepped foot ever into a medical department of a college or a university, never picked up a medical textbook, perhaps never looked up online what my symptoms were, which most people, that's the first thing they do. But, she said, why would I think that I know what pharmaceutical drug my body needs when there's thousands of them and they all interact differently with other things and blood type and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
they're glamorizing it.
I'm sorry?
They're glamorizing drugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were talking about how, and I haven't watched TV and I mean, literally years and years and years. So I haven't seen any of these, but I recall
the last time I watched regular live TV. This was on a movie channel.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I don't even watch that, but I didn't know they did commercials on those. But I recall, it's this happy couple walking through a field of flowers and everything's beautiful. And then at the end, it's all of the things that could go wrong.
No.
And the least, not the least of them, which is death. Like, that doesn't sound appealing to me.
So to me. So I guess I should share, because we always get like new people here. So I'm going to share my health journey.
Yeah.
So, and I think what might be easy to do, and it is I'll show pictures, because it's on my website. So that's just it's so we'll go here. So
your pictures speak 1,000 words. So yeah,
right. And even if I don't like the way my body looks today, I'm still healthy.
I was going to say, you're healthy. So,
So for those that don't know, and I'll share the screen, I was a bodybuilder. I used to bench 185. I was into protein shakes and barbells. However, I had unhealthy habits, like I was eating Twinkies before, my gymnastics workout and stuff like that. And ho-hos. Ho-hos were a big thing. I was going to tell you. And the Hostess cupcakes, you get the cream out of the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
It tasted good, and the
I've
texture.
enjoyed a ho-ho before, or a cupcake, or whatever they're called.
They were delicious. They weren't really good for you, though. Just
No.
spoiler alert. They're not even made with real food. So,
Yeah.
I mean, besides the sugar.
I was gonna say, except the sugar, that's real.
Yeah, that
and
is
there's a sure lot of that.
yeah. So, by 1997, fell down at work. I had actually a torn rotator cuff, 3 centimeter tear on the right and a 1 centimeter tear on the left. Nobody ever did a MRI or an X-ray. They sent me to a physical therapist. They without looking at it, sent me to PT. And I'm like, but I'm in pain. And she said the pain's all in your head. You need to go see a psychiatrist. And so I did, and I got misdiagnosed, put on like all these drugs, nearly died in 2013. And then, of course, reclaimed my health using plants and energy-based healing, which plant and energy-based healing, what connects you to the divine? Okay, so that's the story. So I'm not really a big fan of drugs anymore. And the funny thing is I never was. I never really was. My mom offered me Johnson & Johnson baby aspirin. Remember those?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like 4, and I looked at her like cockeyed, like she was crazy.
That's all sugar too. I remember the taste of those. That's a bunch of sugar.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so that's my story. That's why I push plants and whole food diet, really. I know that you don't eat meat, but I still do right now. And but as long as you're going whole foods and they're organic, meaning or responsibly produced, meaning we haven't inserted a bunch of chemicals. Because honestly, if anybody's listening, anybody who knows anything, there's really no such thing as organic, but there's responsibly produced.
Yes. Yeah. Even, we're, I just was telling you, Jodi, that we've been working out in our yard for the past 3 days, and we're getting our garden beds ready.
Oh, so the part of what you were doing, because I'm like, oh, the show's starting. You're working your garden beds.
Yeah, amongst other things, pulling weeds and those kinds of things.
That's working the garden beds. Yeah,
it is. But it was more than just the garden bed; it was the entire yard. So I'm like, I feel like I'm 110 years old. But hey, I'm moving. It's all good.
Moving? Are you flipping kidding me? You're the Rockstar Coach. No. You move like no one I see on stage.
No, moving moving. Anyway, so working the garden beds, and where I was going with this is, a lot of people, and no judgment whatsoever. A lot of people will spray, the weeds, and they'll spray bug killer and all of these things, and then you go to, maybe make a new garden bed in your yard, and you may not even think of what's in the ground and the earth underneath that, what chemicals have been sprayed. And so it was like a glorious moment. I heard the angels singing when my man had made a new garden bed in a couple of areas, but this one in particular, and he was pulling the weeds out of it. And he said, yeah, I haven't sprayed this area in years now. He's like, we haven't used any chemicals in years in this area. And I just was so happy to know that, because yes, it takes a long time for that stuff to get out of the dirt. And yet it's like, thank you. You're thinking consciously. And I'm not just saying him, but when we do those kinds of things, you start thinking consciously of, okay, I don't want to add extra chemicals, because, the dirt in and of itself, sometimes there's not a way to know what's in the dirt that you're getting, depending on where you're getting it from, et cetera, et cetera. So as consciously as you can be about it is so good, because you're right. There is really no such thing as organic because of that type of thing. You don't know what's in the dirt. Even if you're not adding anything to it, there could absolutely be other things.
So let me share as a panel what I have done for people's ponds and for their dirt.
We have a pond too.
Okay. So here's the recipe, everybody. Get your paper and pen and write this down. Yep. So in the pond, we'll start with that. I put in 1 bottle of lemon essential oil by doTERRA. What that does is it neutralizes any microplastics that are in the water, which we have a lot of it.
Yep.
I put in 1 bottle of cilantro because it handles the heavy metals. I put in 1 bottle of copaiba. This is all by doTERRA, because what that does is brings homeostasis. And then I usually put in 1 bottle of oregano or clove, because if there's any virus or disease or bacteria that's unwanted, it will neutralize that. And same thing for your I do this for some of the plants by our house, because they're not even our plants, but it's the planet. So I blend all those in a big bottle of coconut oil, and I pour it around the plants. So they're being nourished. Basically, they're being nourished by the land and not infiltrated by the toxicity that man brought to the land.
Right. And then how often do you add those to the pond, since the water, since you have to add water?
I think we did it once a quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, like once every 3 months.
Okay.
And then for the land, honestly, it's going to depend on your land, but I listen. I mean, especially you, Michelle, as an intuitive. Look at your plants. Look how they're thriving, right? And if they look like they need some love and attention, I would just encourage you to, if you're listening, do a little meditation and ask Spirit if they need it, or hire Michelle or I.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I heard Jodi on that one.
And I'm pretty good at that, and I can do it from afar. So we're going to talk about shifting the mindset about healing. And so the first part we just talked about was, how do we heal the land, right? And the water, so that we can nourish ourselves with the food. And I think it's really important to make sure that we are not using these pesticides, because not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting your food supply, because you're killing off the bees. And I'm going to tell you, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist. That's fine. We had all these, train derailments, right? If you take a look at it, it's all by the waterways, right? There were more than one, for those of you who don't know. And there's all these chemical fires, and we're in the spring. And what is the spring time? We have the bees.
Well, and it's harvest time, and those waterways fill farmers' lands.
Right. Yes, that too. And we're killing the fish with those. Yeah. So, I mean, you need to wake up and understand. Most of you are awake who listen to my show.
Or they'd have been scared off a long time ago.
Right. And for those of you, I hope you guys are piping in this morning. There was an issue with Facebook. So it didn't go live. Don't know why. There was some sort of disconnect. So I reconnected it, and we are live on Facebook now.
Okay.
So
I think I had some people joining in from there. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you want to let them know. But we're connected. But the thing is that when we're using chemicals, or we have these train derailments, or whatever it is that brings chemicals into the ear, we're killing the bees, and the bees are pollinating our food, and we're killing the fish, and we're just, yeah.
Mhm.
So now that we know that, we can make a conscious choice, right? And there are 3 initiatives going on. There's so many initiatives going on, but one of the things I want to talk about today, not right this moment, but Michelle and I have an event for healing. There's an event tonight for healing, the quantum healing, the Global Quantum Healing Initiative. That's tonight, like 12 hours from now. So there's a lot of ways that you can help, because when you go into prayer and you heal yourself, you can heal the rest of the planet heals. And one of the things that I created on what's that app? It's Telegram. There's a group, and we're going to be doing prayer and using our frequency devices. Let me just do this, like Healy and Beamer and any frequency device, and we're going to be sending that energy to the areas of concern to start healing the land.
Yeah. And, if I might, it's really, I just want to add to that and some of you may know the Bible. There is a verse, and I'm going to get it wrong, but paraphrasing it, where 2 or more are gathered together.
Mm-hmm.
And it is true in this instance as well. When we put our energies together, when we focus on a cause, when we are like-minded and we have the same intention for something, group healing, group intention, group prayer is so very powerful, and it is so necessary. And it's not to say that we can't make a difference ourselves, because we absolutely can, and we absolutely do. And when we join together, I was speaking with a woman a few weeks ago, and she was part of, and we won't go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to kind of prove this point. She was part of the collective group that in 2012 energetically moved the asteroid that hit the Earth.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So it was on one
It's
trajectory.
like what year? 2012?
2012. It was on a certain trajectory, and this collective group, very much like we are here, and a different time now, but different things are going on. She was part of that group that caused that energetically to change course. And instead of hitting the Earth where it was originally going to hit and destroy a lot of the planet, it hit another part, and it did destroy some, but very little in comparison to where it was headed. So it is possible. It absolutely is possible. So don't think that, don't go by, sometimes we hear or we think, oh, what's that going to do? I can't change that. That's too big. Well, not if you join forces. It's not.
So I have a few stories about that. First of all, spot on, absolutely correct. And I wasn't even awake in 2012, so just saying. I was waking up. I woke up after.
Yeah, she's an incredible woman, I will say. I'm like, whoa, the stories, because she's been awake for a long time, obviously.
Yeah. No, I didn't wake up until after the just before the Mayan calendar ended. So, number one, there's a story with Michael Murphy Burke, which he was on, a few weeks ago on February 14th. And we had so many people helping him to heal his heart that he opted out of dying.
That's a good choice. I like that.
Yeah. And we did that with prayer. The second thing, though, which I've never shared ever, it was 2019. And I had met Andrew by that time, my now husband. And I really didn't understand who I was, but I was getting downloads and I was getting messages. And I believed him, you know. And his son, I'm muscle testing what I can say. His son was at a track meet, and I had gotten a download that there was going to be a bomb going off at that track meet. And there were 2 shamans I know, and I called them both. And I said, I don't know what to do about it. I said, I'm just the messenger, but I can tell you this is what I'm hearing. And they moved it, and it went off in France in a safe place at the same time. The exact same time. And his son was saved. So that was my first experience about how we can move energy. Because an explosion had to happen. It just didn't have to happen there.
Right. Yep.
So we have the power to heal. We have the power to heal ourselves. You don't need a drug. And I'm not saying that there are not times to have a drug. Like if there's an emergency, there's a broken leg, or, you know, you can fill in the blank. I don't want to bring that into the field. But it's meant, drugs are meant to be used, in my opinion, for a very short period of time. They're not meant for 10 years, certainly not meant for 19 years, which is, you know, right? And we have choices. So let's talk about that, shall we? Okay. So for one, when you have pain, let's say you have tooth pain, right? Or you're going in to the dentist, and you can use frankincense essential oil and lavender essential oil. And you can apply it topically outside, or you can do it on the inside of the gum. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not playing one on the radio.
You didn't stay at a Holiday Inn last night?
What's that?
You didn't stay at a Holiday Inn last night?
I did not. But the thing is that we're also not giving you prescriptions here, and we're not telling you that this is the right thing for you. But what I am telling you is that there are options.
Yes.
Okay. So don't go getting off your medications if you take them. You're not allowed to do that. Okay.
No, don't do that.
You are allowed to see a qualified health practitioner or somebody who might be certified in essential oils and a medical intuitive. But you do need to see a qualified health practitioner. Anyways, and your definition of the qualified health practitioner. Okay. So did I cover all the legal stuff?
I think I would add that we are not medical doctors. So yes.
I did say that. That was the first word.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are not medical doctors.
Yes. There you go. Perfect. That makes me feel better.
Okay. But there are options.
Yes.
For pain. There's options for nerve pain. Muscle pain and nerve pain are completely different, and they're handled differently. And so there are, different plants for each one. We put them in, nice little bottles. Make it convenient for you. One of the things that can cause a lot of pain and can cause a lot of weight gain and anxiety and stress are the electromagnetic frequencies in your home. And I had really a big scare. I didn't know what was going on with me, and I finally figured it out. I moved here. I was my thin self. Andrew and I were staying in a hotel for a few months until we found an apartment. And here we are. Didn't understand why I was gaining weight. I'm strict with my diet. I'm just, it doesn't even faze me. I've never been an overeater until I was actually on drugs, and it's shifted how my brain worked, and I didn't turn off the I'm satiated part. But I'm not on drugs, and I am satiated, and I was gaining weight. Why? 15 smart meters on my wall. One smart meter is equivalent to, I think, 140 to 160 phones. And my husband hopefully will pipe in here and let me know if I got that number right. But it's huge. It's like it's significant. And I did a video on it on YouTube, and I encourage y'all to go look for it. It says 5G on it. It says weight gain, and it's in your bedroom. And what I will tell you is you're not supposed to have over 0.3 hertz, milligauss, in the home, and not over 0.5 or 0.05, in the bedroom. And we went over 100.
Oh.
So we took our tri-field meter out. It's over 100. So if you're having anxiety and stress, so he was right. So it's 140 to 160 phones is one smart meter.
Unbelievable.
And we have 15. So if you're having anxiety and stress, you need to relook at how you're addressing that, right? One, you can use lavender. There is a PubMed study for that. Craig is saying there's audio trouble. First of all, thank you, Craig, for letting us know. And thank you for piping in. If you try YouTube, if it's not working on Facebook, and what I'll do real quickly is I'll put in all the links for all the other places. I'll just do a quick copy paste. Copy here. Oh, it's going to come through as many links, but that was probably not a good idea. But anyway, here's YouTube. I'm going to do these again. I'm going to make your life easier. Ignore those, and let me put in separate links. So I'll give you the YouTube link first. Okay. There you go. There's YouTube right here. Make that easier for you, because the other thing is just a little overwhelming. And then, and looks like Facebook is live. So that's good, because I'm on myself now. And so it's the same link. So let me go there. Well, we are on Facebook, but for other people, we'll put it there. So what are some of the solutions, the holistic solutions that you use, Michelle?
It's interesting because kind of what I wanted to say, one of the things that when you were talking about pain has its purpose. Pain is telling us that there's something going on in our bodies. And when we use whatever it is that we use to numb the pain or to take the pain away, whether that's a drug or, some sort of substance. And honestly, even a holistic, even an oil or something
I
like
hear
that.
where you're going with this. So yes.
Yeah. We are only masking the problem. We're putting a Band-Aid on it, and the Band-Aid that we're putting on it is not going to heal. The Band-Aid just covers it up. So I'm not saying live in excruciating pain, but what I am saying is take note, because our bodies are brilliant, and the pain tells us that there is something wrong. So then we have the opportunity to investigate what is going wrong. Where is my pain? Okay, I had an earache. Well, I had water in my ear. Okay, I can get that out, I can use oils and get that out, no problem.
Right.
If it is something on the inside, deeper, heart, whatever, an organ of some sort, take note of that. And certainly not saying don't try to help alleviate the pain. And yet you want to go figure out what that pain is from, because just taking away the pain is not taking away the problem. And we can actually go down the road too, emotionally. When we're feeling emotion,
that is the road we need to go down, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly because so here's the thing. Even if you're getting rid of the pain using lavender, and it will heal the cells, it won't damage. We still have to get to the root cause, which is your mindset, your emotional well-being. So take it away, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
So yeah, I'll go down that road in that what Jodi said at the beginning of the show, disease starts in our mind. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people are going to feel is very unpopular. And some people are not going to like me very much at all. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So you don't have to be liked by everybody. Go ahead.
Yep. We attract everything into our lives. We attract all of our experiences. We attract all of our health issues, whether they be emotional, mental, physical, or spiritual. Hi, Chris. Yes, happy new moon.
Is it new moon or full moon?
I mean, it's happy full moon. It's full moon.
It's full moon, Lovey, but we are so happy
moon
to have
today.
you here. Yeah, we love you.
It's very early where she is. We're going to totally give her grace.
Even if it wasn't early, we would give her grace anyway.
I know.
I love Chris. Oh my God, I love Chris.
Absolutely double grace. It's way early.
Double grace.
Yeah, so we attract everything into our experience. So if you have an illness, if you are sick, you attract
anger. Well, what if you have anger?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have anger, and it goes unresolved or unhealed, it will cause you to be physically sick as well. Yep. It will cause some physical illness. And nobody likes to admit this. I mean, we've all had illness. We've all had a cold. We've all had, something like the flu or something like that. So no one is immune that I know of to physical illness. And therefore, I am not saying, I never get sick because I, am emotionally 100% well. No, we are human beings. And yet when we can understand that.
Wait, are we human beings? Or are we human doings?
Well, we're supposed to be human beings. A lot of us are human doings.
Just say.
So when we can understand that and really embrace that, we then will with our own healing and with help, nobody says you have to do it on your own, just like nobody says if you do have a physical disease or illness that you shouldn't go to the doctor. Yeah, again, we're not medical doctors. You probably should see a medical professional of some sort, whatever you're comfortable with. And on top of that, find help if you are not aware yourself. Find help in figuring out what is going on in your mind, in your body, mentally and emotionally and spiritually, that may be the cause of this disease or illness. So a lot of times, I know Jodi gets these people too. We'll get people that say, oh, I have an illness, and I'm not even going to speak any into the universe, but I have this illness and it came on all of a sudden and I've been in bed for 3 weeks. Well, as we dig deeper, we will find what the cause of that is. A lot of times it can be very simple, believe it or not. It can be simply the universe or spirit or source is saying, you need to slow down. You're not looking at full pictures of things. You need to slow down. And so when we don't listen to our own bodies, and that's another point we can talk about, our body, our emotions, they give us signals. We don't feel emotions, and typically we don't feel emotions and then immediately get physically sick.
Takes a
We
while.
feel emotion, we feel some sort of nudge, and we ignore it.
Well, yeah. It's like
We have some-
what happens when you ignore the light on your car? When that light goes off?
Yeah, if your check engine light goes off and you just let it go, well, eventually you're gonna be stuck at the side of the road.
Oh,
You know?
so like if you don't pay attention to your own check engine light, you're going to be stuck on the side of the road there too.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we ignore, well, it will take care of itself. Don't you worry. It'll come back.
Well, and Chris
so-
says here, hold on. So Chris is saying, let me see if I can get it up here. She says emotions are there for us to address and work through. And that's the truth.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying, because they are indicators, just like lights on your car. They're indicators of something, and we may not know immediately what they are indicating at first. But when we can dig deep, or when we can have some help digging deep to figure those things out, we can and will get to the cause. And even if we've already experienced some sort of physical ailment because of that, a lot of times without, and again, we're not saying don't go seek professional help, but a lot of times when we do take care of the emotional or spiritual or mental issue, it does take care of the physical as well. And when we do that, we are keeping ourselves from future physical indicators that there is something going on. So if you are on a great spiritual diet, if you're on a great emotional diet, mental diet, then, you are going to be much better off physically, guaranteed.
Well, let's talk about that great physical or emotional diet, right? Because you may think that you are. We have to go to commercial, but I want to come back and talk about the emotional diet. And I want to talk about the Akashic records, which are really, in a lot of ways, patterns in your brain that don't need to be there. They were never yours to begin with. Okay. So we're going to talk about patterns in your mind. Some of them are conscious and some of them are unconscious. And we're going to talk about, what that looks like and how that shows up. Here we go. So let me go to a couple commercials, and then everyone grab yourself like a cup of joe, like maybe have my Ticino dandelion coffee that I have here, or whatever suits your fancy. All right. Be right there.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Jodi Suson of Suson Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers the psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program, focusing on two things: toxic-free living and a connection to our brain health. Suson Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with a self-paced functional food program, now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
Okay, we are back. So we're basically going to be talking about mindset, patterns, emotions, and how they all drive your health, right? Did I miss anything, Michelle?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So both of us access the Akashic records. I'm just going to dive right in. And let's put it into layman terms. We access a level of consciousness that allows us to delve into the history of that particular soul. Would you agree?
That is part of it. Yes.
Part
correct.
of it. Oh yeah, part of it for sure. Why don't you go ahead and finish up?
Well, I see the records as every thought, every action, everything that has happened from the past, and then potential and possibilities for the future.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And thank you for bringing the distinction. Mm-hmm. So there exists in that history things that happen that may have traumatized us in this lifetime or past lifetimes. And it's an unconscious pattern that's repeating, and it's driving your present and your future. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And what do you want to add? I hear you.
Until we become aware.
Yeah. Until
we change it.
Right. Until we become aware and change it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put myself on the stage. I had a pattern that was showing up. And I know it's been like that way for decades. I mean, for as long as I've been alive, that people don't do what they say they're going to do. People are unreliable. Cancel. Okay. So Andrew and I do a lot of work. Listen, I'm sure you and Bill do too. And we just, to manifest what we want, we have to address our the dark side, let's say, or our shadow work. And to have inner peace and to have world peace, you have to work on yourself first. And Spirit pretty much hit me across the head with a 2x4 this last week.
Happens.
I mean, really. I mean, if God was sitting there with a 2x4, and Christ was a carpenter, right?
Yeah. He probably has some.
And so, I will say two things. There were certain people I kind of expected not to show up, right? But then the people, and so I was like, okay, here we go again. I kind of figured that's who you were, right? But then someone didn't show up, and I knew that wasn't who she was. And I was really upset, and it came at me on Sunday like a quadruple play. God's like, if you don't get rid of this out of your field now, I'm gonna have a conniption fit, right? He's like,
because you're gonna keep living over and over
from your timeline. And this one was not as easy to erase from my timeline because I had a curse on me. And so my friend Philip Shannon and I saw it. Like there was a curse, and there was this like white parasite looking thing that was going down my spine. I mean, it's energy. It's it's a physical manifestation. And when we pulled it out of my body energetically, and I'm walking outside in the woods, and literally I was just bawling. I was crying my eyes out because, first of all, you're used to having, so I want you to know that's nothing to be scared of, because you're used to having this energy in your physical body, okay, in your spiritual body, and now it's gone. So it's always crying is a normal response and release. And then, like maybe after 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of crying, I had joy. I wonder why they thought I was flipping bipolar. I'm sorry. So anyway, the point is that there's two things. One, everything we if you want it, you can have it. Like if you want to fix something, I want to say everything's fixable, but there's a caveat. You have to want to fix it yourself. And within community, I mean, like you don't have to do it yourself, but you have to yourself have to have the desire to have a better version of you in the next day or next moment. Let me see what we got here. Yeah. So Andrew says, yes, it's not what happens to us. It's how we handle it and how we respond. Absolutely. Do you want to add to that, Michelle? Like to anything that we just shared, or go to?
Yeah, I mean, I feel led. This came up, and so I'm feeling somebody's probably out there thinking this or wanting to ask this question.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say it as delicately as possible. Humans die.
Yeah,
right?
we die.
Humans physically die. And so I know I've had this question in the past. Okay, well, if we can heal ourselves and if we all can desire truly to want to be well, then why do some people die? There's a lot of reasons, but here is a blanket statement I will give that is being given to me. So it's not coming from Michelle. This is coming straight from source this morning. As I said before, we attract everything into our experience. And when we let things go for a period of time, they can compound. And if we have not addressed certain things for a long period of time, we may not have the opportunity because living on this planet, we are under time and space laws. And sometimes we may not have the amount of time necessary to heal all of that and all of the physical damage it has done. So what I'm saying is, even when we heal the emotional and mental challenges or the things that have been going on, if they have been going on your entire life and generations past and perhaps past lives, it may not give you enough physical time if your physical body is in too bad of shape. Now, are there miracles? Absolutely. I just felt like that needed to be said, because there is a question. Well, if we can do that, then why is anybody dying?
Well,
So
what
there
about old
are-
souls? Talk about old souls,
What
Michelle.
about-
Talk about old souls, because what you're talking about kind of tips on the topic of, you know, the fact that we have many lives, right? And so
Oh, sure.
we come
Yeah,
back.
I mean, we could be living out, because of the patterns that Jodi was saying, you know, because of the experiences that we have had in past lives, we could be living out a lot of those mental and emotional and physical experiences. And that may be what our soul chose to come to do. And this can go down in another rabbit hole. And I think this is an entire different show, talking about what our souls agreed to before we incarnated on this planet. But because we did experience certain things in our past and we have agreed, just put it that way, because we have agreed to live things out, we may have chosen to not live to be 1,000 years old. We may have chosen to come here and live to whatever age. And it doesn't mean that our life is that less powerful. In fact, sometimes for some people, and I know we've all heard of or known people like this, they may have physically gone out of body, what we would consider very early in their lifetime, and yet they had huge impact. And perhaps had they stayed on this earth for 20 or 50 more years, the impact may have been less.
Right.
Because we learn so differently in physical form than we do in spiritual form. So I hope that clears up a little bit. I know there's a lot of gray and there's a lot of question around that, but hopefully that does address something that someone was wondering about.
So it's a great job. And I think, I'd like to add to that. It's not just that, I mean, the reason, one of the reasons people die is because they're not willing to learn their lessons. So when that signal in the car goes off and you're ignoring that red light, but now that you're the car, right? And the red light is the symptom, and you continue to ignore it, there's only so much that your body can do. And so, here, one second. Andrew said, really interesting insight about the impact that some people can make, even if they leave this world at a young age. Yeah, some of these people here, Andrew, are here as a lesson to us, to teach us. They come here, they die early to teach the rest of the world a lesson, and they know that before they come down.
Yeah.
So, and thank you. So the point is that if you're not willing to look at yourself and you're not willing to listen to people, and really, because if spirit can't get you the message, they're going to send it to you in a song, a billboard, a friend, a sibling,
A radio show.
radio show. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot about us. So, I mean, I basically got hit over the head with a 2x4 all week last week because we're in a huge time. I don't know if anybody knows this, but we're in it's a full moon. And Chris, I know I emailed this to you, Michelle. You probably already know about it. And not that Chris, that you didn't, but I mean, just whatever. Today starts a transit, and I think Chris had said, here we go, Saturn and Capricorn. And there's actually, we're in the Piscean age, but there's something more to it.
We're in the Aquarian age, but the moon's in Pisces.
Yeah, so we're shifting over to the Piscean age. But this exact pattern that we have in the universe right now, and I'm not an astrologer on any level, okay? But I read it from a trusted source, is the same pattern we had in 1964 to 1967. Civil uprising in China, Vietnam, JFK assassinated. Okay? You guys following me? Actually, JFK was assassinated in 63. But the thing is that we're at a time where things are really going to shift, and there's, I was seeing this civil uprising, which we started having in February, in many places. I saw that coming a long time ago, and I had no idea, because I'm not an astrologer, that it's actually a pattern in our planetary alignments. Mm-hmm. And so this is a time of change, and this is also a time of manifestation. So if something is pinging you, like it keeps on coming up, that is your signal to address it and get rid of it. And if you've tried, let's say, conventional ways to get rid of the issue, whatever it is, emotional, physical, whatever, spiritual, come see us, because we have a different way and it works. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, it's probably deeper than what you have access to. And Michelle and I both have access to our higher consciousness. So so we can go in there and support you. So with that being said, I'm going to say there's 2 opportunities for healing. Mm-hmm. Number 1, tonight at 8:00 Eastern, which is 7 Central, 5 Pacific, we have the Global Quantum Healing event, and I will put that link in the thread. It's an hour. It's $33, people. $33. You really can't go wrong with the $33 healing for an hour. And the last one was amazing. So I will do my best to share these in here, because if I go to YouTube and grab the link, we might have an interference show, but we'll do my best. But you can also, let me just do this. You can also email me for that. So it's Jodi@SusanEssentials.com, or text me at 847-738-0242. And so there's that. The second, let me just do that. There we go. Thing is Thursday. Mm-hmm. And it's a 2-hour event. It's with Michelle and I, so that you can shine your light. And it's 6:30 at night for 2 hours, in person or virtually. We have Zoom. And by the way, if you did the last quantum healing and you had YouTube, we're doing Zoom, so your experience will be nicer. It's just saying. We all learn. And so again, if you're interested in this Thursday night where we're accessing the Akashic records for you and helping you heal, and you should reach out to Michelle or me for that information, and I will also put the link here. But I know we have many of you listening on the radio, and so you can't see the link. So I'm going to ask you to text me at 847-738 0242. Michelle, do you want to share how to get in touch with you and for your peeps?
Yeah, you can email me at myrockstarcoach@gmail.com. Very easy. myrockstarcoach@gmail.com.
Okay.
And just say, more info on healing or something like that.
Yeah. And actually I do have an easy way. Let me just go here. I'm just going to show this on StreamYard here.
And I'm so excited about this event on Thursday, because I think, and don't get me wrong, I do 99.9% of my business online. So the Zoom thing, it's my best friend. I mean, I love being able to have my business online. And I know I have felt the call to be with community in person. And I know that there is a large group of the collective that feels the same way. And so if you are in the Atlanta, Marietta, Kennesaw, Ackworth, Georgia area,
Woodstock,
yeah, Cartersville, all of that area, join us live, because it's not that you won't receive the same healing. And I think I made a Facebook post about this. You're going to receive the same energetic healing benefits, but you won't be able to receive the same touchy-feely community energy as you can receive in person. It is just slightly different. Now, that does not mean that there won't be the community feel online, because we both do a very good job of including everyone, and we want everyone to know that they are important and they are part of whatever, whatever event that we have going on. And there is just another level, there just is. There's fellowship that sometimes happens before or after the event begins. And so if you are able to make it in person, you're just going to love the experience. So I encourage you. And if you are not able, or you don't live nearby, please don't be dissuaded. We want you there. Your energy, your energy is powerful. And when we put that kind of energy on the internet, it's healing in and of itself, because the internet needs to be healed.
Well, it's interesting that you say about you put that on. So last night, before I went to bed, so here's the other thing. There was some, we'll just call it dark energy. It was on my website. And my website, see, like the picture we have here of us, all the images were duplicating like bunnies.
Oh my.
Yeah, it would have taken my website down.
Oh my.
But I have an amazing web developer who, if you need a web developer, you need to call me, because this one's amazing. Anyways, and she's an intuitive web developer and intuitive. Thank you. Anyways, so I cleared that, and then I cleared my YouTube channel because I felt like there was energy on that. And then I said, Andrew, I kind of think that we should clear, because Andrew, of course, did this with me. So I kind of feel like we should clear all of the social media channels that we have. And we did, but not just ours. We cleared all of them, of course, the best that we could. He's like, oh my God. And he's like, I feel this throughout my entire body, He's like, it's like pulsating. Yes, it is, Dolly. So the point is that, there's a lot to clear, and we do it better in community. And, so if you're a healer, actually, I'm being called to tell this. Spirit's telling me to tell people this. If you're listening to this and you're a healer, Spirit is asking you to actively participate in clearing things that are not necessarily yours. Do prayer. He's asking prayer on earth, prayer for the water, prayer for other people you don't even know, prayer on technology, prayer for people who are running technology, prayer to remove interferences of that technology, prayer to remove interferences, any dark energy that anywhere, right? It's your divine right to have access to source energy. And if you have that access, it's also now your divine responsibility to start helping and do the work. We need your help.
That's what holding space is all about,
Mm-hmm.
Even when we as healers, as light workers, go to an event, when we attend an event as an attendee, we get the opportunity to hold space for those that are administering the energy. Yes, we get to receive it, but it's a beautiful service to be able to be there and hold space for those that are, putting on the event, that are hosting, because, and we won't go down this rabbit hole. There's been a lot of rabbit holes today, but when light is being shown brightly, what does that do? It attracts the moths. The moths are attracted to flame. And when we are the flame, when we have others holding space for us, it is so very helpful to keep those moths away, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I do free healings for, Michelle, and I'm sure you do too. They don't have the money. They're very good souls. Some of them know that I do it. Some of them don't. Most of them don't. I just do it. Because we can't leave our fellow light workers who may not have money right now behind. Yeah. Did I lose you in there? Are you?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. It's hard to tell.
I'm not moving.
So, Chris was just saying, because we're a little bit behind on this, and we have to run to commercial again. But she says, significant conjunction. She goes, I've been seeing Saturn for weeks coming in. The song sound of the universe definitely is changing. Oh, absolutely. And then she also says, prayer to elevate the world and everything in it. Amen, sister.
Yes.
And before we go to commercial, I want to just show the other.
Yes, your event tonight.
Yeah. So the one tonight, you guys, is so the one that Michelle and I are doing in person, which is 2 hours, is $111, angel number. And the one tonight, also an angel number, is $33. And it's quantum global healing. Let me see, is that showing up? Yeah, it is.
And that's with Dr. Steven Spencer, yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. And you want to talk powerhouse? And actually, I'm going to read this. He says, quantum global healing, world peace through inner peace. He says, for centuries, Buddhist monks have set intentions and impacted the world around us in numbers, as we've been speaking, you and I, Michelle. In numbers, we are more powerful. We can create abundance, peace, freedom, and safety. And if you choose to feel the love in the world, it will love you back. It starts with us. Your thoughts not only impact your own reality, they affect stars and planets and other dimensions and galaxies. Yeah, just let that sit with you for a while. Okay? So, we're not alone here. Don't fool yourself. Join us in creating a world of peace and love on the journey inward. Be the powerful soul and unleash the power within your mind and heart as Dr. Stephen Spencer and Reverend Jodi Suson-Calhoun, my name is way too long, guides into the world of unlimited potentials through the quantum field. Be loved. Now, here's the other thing. We like to give back. 22% of the investment will be donated to the Alliance for Natural Health and the Organic Consumers Association. You can cancel at any time. And the reason we chose these places is because they're helping support regenerative farming and, healing the planet. So this is not, the Organic Consumers Association isn't about like the certification. They're the ones who are promoting healing the planet, getting rid of the toxins. Same with Alliance for Natural Health. The Alliance for Natural Health is protecting our rights to natural medicine. I mean, I can't tell you for how many years they've been trying to get N-acetylcysteine off the shelves and categorized as a drug. And, you can put two and two together, what's been going on the last 3 years, what would have helped it. I'm just saying, not saying a word, but I'm saying.
No.
I'm going to go to a quick commercial. What are we going to talk about when we come back, Michelle?
Oh, I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't. You see if I can find the commercial. There she is. Woo-wee.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Okay, one more quick commercial, and we're going to talk about mindset and probably something else too.
Jodi Suson of Suson Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers a psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program focusing on two things: toxic-free living and a connection to our brain health. Suson Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with a self-paced functional food program now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
All right, we are back.
We're back.
We're back. She's back. Poltergeist. That last commercial about my, toxic-free living, the tagline that I recently created for this is emotional healing through toxic-free living. And I want to just share where this was really born out of. Let me take you back to 2014, where I'm disabled, right? And the Ty Bollinger of The Truth About Cancer, had his docuseries. And the second docuseries, which is actually, the following year, he said on stage, you can eat all the organic food you want, and you're still going to get cancer unless you deal with what you and I are going to talk about right now, your mind. He says, unless you deal with what's between your ears, is what he said. Oh. So what Michelle and I are talking about today, what we're offering you, is critical for for the vitality of your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think are some of the mindsets people have around health?
I think the biggest one is it's hereditary.
Oh,
It runs in my family.
genetic, right?
It's genetic. There are many. So yeah, it's genetic.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Bad luck is a big one that Andrew and I hear a lot. It's just bad luck. I'm like, no, it's not. It's your behavior.
Oh, how about everything gives you cancer? Cancel.
I have to die sometime.
Yeah, everybody dies. Let's see. Oh, here's an interesting one. This isn't necessarily, I mean, it can be. It can be turned into mindset, but something that I've heard, and it's kind of funny, but it's, people will say, well, my aunt, she smoked and she drank, every single night when she got home from work, and she ate whatever she wanted. She lived to be 110 years old. So it's like, well, guess what? Your aunt probably had really good mindset. She was a positive person and she never thought that she was going to get stuff, so she didn't.
Right. So, and that's exactly right. We actually have someone in our family and Andrew's side who is still living, doing really well, very old, and she's happy. And she doesn't smoke anymore, drinks like a fish. But she's happy. Like, and she doesn't think she's getting disease. She doesn't think about it, And so that's huge. So if you want to be like that person, drink like a fish, eat all the crappy food, but think that okay, it's probably not really happening. It's very few of us. I love the one runs in the family. Oh, so-and-so had it, so no, I'm going to get it. Right.
Yep.
So that's actually a big one that's been coming up a lot. They go, oh, my sister had it. This person had it. This person had it. So I'm going to get it.
Yep.
And so that pattern of I'm going to get it.
Yep.
Is what causes you to get it. Not because. So and genetics don't need to be expressed. Let's just talk science for a minute. Genes don't have to be expressed when you have the proper nutrition. And I'm going to go on a limb, and this is not science. It's metaphysics. Genes don't have to be expressed if you have the right mindset.
Yes.
Okay.
Truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Truth.
So if we were going to shift minds, go ahead. Yeah.
I was also going to say, because I've recently experienced this myself, even if and when they do, because perhaps your mindset was not 100% clear, it can be healed,
Absolutely.
And you don't have to, part of why. So some people may say, well, it's not that I sit and dwell on it. Okay, that may be true. And yet I bet there is some fear that is spinning around in your head every time, you hear someone with the same thing that your mom had or whatever. I bet even if you're not conscious of it, it's going around. Oh, yep, I'm going to get that. Ready for that. So it's fears. You may not even be, because a lot of times people will say, well, I haven't been dwelling on it. I haven't been thinking about it. Okay. And yet, what happened when your mom had it? What were you thinking? Where was your mindset around that? Were you fearful around death? Were you fearful around the illness or the disease? Or were you infusing the situation with love and positive energy and a positive mindset of that's okay. We can heal this. We can get past this. We can get through this. A lot of people,
and also not saying, and also not making the disease you.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Not
because
going, oh, yeah, I'm going to get this too then.
well, so back in the day when I was misdiagnosed having bipolar disorder, I didn't say I have bipolar disorder. What did I
Yeah.
say? I'm bipolar.
Yeah.
Big difference. I
Yeah.
had made it part of my identity.
Yeah.
It is so not my identity.
Right.
And what is
Right.
Lisa saying here? She says, you want to read or?
I'll read. I
Yeah.
believe all disease is already present. It's a matter of them being lit up or clicked on. When fear comes in and says, oh, it's in the family, it invites it in as if it's expected.
That's
Sure.
powerful. So like you're just
Yeah.
opening the door, come on in, right? You have a ticket to the party, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because someone
Yep.
else in the family had it. So you're
Yep.
welcome. But the truth is
Yeah, you're
not
welcome to be there, but
Right.
do you want to be there or not?
Wow.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And not every disease, even if your entire family had it, not every disease is in your DNA. It's just not. I mean, it's like, how are identical twins, how does one have, I know I was friends in my college years with identical twins, and one of them had a disease that caused certain things and the other one did not.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, because
it doesn't
it's
have to happen.
mind. It's your subconscious mind. And we have to look at those patterns. And those subconscious patterns, you know, this is really something that you need to look at. If you want to shift the trajectory of your life, of your health, look at your subconscious mind. And most of you cannot do this on your own. Just going to tell you, it's not, I mean, it's a hard thing to do until you learn how.
It is a very hard thing to do. And I enlist professionals that are certified in certain modalities to help me, because even though
I enlist you to help me.
Yeah. Of course.
I mean,
even
I enlist you to help me.
Even though we do this work, you know, I used to have a business coach and I loved this thing that he always said. It's hard to see the picture when you're inside the frame. And I think I may have even said that on this show before, because it's so true. It is so much more difficult to see our own shadows than it is to see someone else's. And that goes for light workers and healers and intuitives as well. Yeah. One thing that also,
it's hard to see the picture when you're inside the frame.
The frame. Yeah, we knew what you meant. Another thing, Jodi, that is coming up that Spirit is saying someone's they're asking is, what about babies that are born with certain illnesses?
Interesting question. Okay, you go first.
Okay. So I have a few different takes on this.
So do I. Yeah.
One is, as a parent or a grandparent, family member, community member, when there is a child that is in utero, a lot of times there's a lot of joy usually, and a lot of times there's also a lot of fear. fear that they will be healthy, fear that they will be sick, fear that they will have 10 toes and fingers, etc., etc., etc. If the mother is at a certain age, or if they have certain things going on in their body, will it affect the baby, etc., etc., etc. Energy is energy, even when it's not our own. And again, here's another bunny trail we could go on, and we're not going to. But
most of it's not.
We can cause illness in other people just as much as we can cause illness in ourselves if the other person is not aware and or able to self-protect and self-heal. Hopefully that came across as I meant it. So
especially if they can't self-protect and self-heal. Well, that's most of the universe. And let me just see this. I want to take a deeper dive on this.
Yeah.
So let's just call it like it is. 1, everything's energy, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
2, energy knows no bounds. So if you and I are sending great energy to each other, you're going to feel it. I'm going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
In the same light, if you're angry with someone, they're going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you can latch onto that concept, if this is new to you, okay, understand people can feel your feelings, and you don't have to be in the same room or the same state or the same country. So there's that. Now, if you're in utero and you have those fears as the mother carrying, or the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, and I'm going to tell you something. When you have sex with someone, let me just pause on the other part. When you have sex with someone, you're transferring traumas.
Yeah, you're transferring energy, whatever that energy looks like.
Yeah, including the good and the bad. So the traumas are being transferred each time you're having sex.
Yeah.
Think about that when you decide to have casual sex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah, think about that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not putting a judgment, by the way, on your sexual anything. I'm just telling you that's what it is. Right?
Yeah, so mindful. So if you don't know the person, you also don't know, what they might be transferring to you, physical or emotional.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So now that we know that you transfer traumas on with sex as well as with the good stuff, and we know that energy flows. Okay, I've captured both of those. Just got to make sure so just for transparency, Michelle and I are both very tired. So we're doing the best that we can. So, and then the third thing is, since we know that energy has no bounds and we transfer traumas with sex, what do you think is happening to that baby? There's a lot of women that I've worked with. I don't have it here. Oh, I do have it here. Hold on. I have the BOD, which is that sound frequency device. And it comes with the headset, right? Which I don't have the headset here, which is no big deal. So, but I take that headset and I put it on the pregnant belly because it puts the brain in a theta state. So if the I put one on the mother's ears and one on the belly for the baby. So what that does is it allows the baby to put its brain in the theta state and the mom to put her brain in the theta state and clear traumas, right? It's a beautiful thing when you decide not to go with the current reality of how we do things in the past and you start listening to God about what you can do for the future. And in sound, it's the theta state. It's creativity. It's not going to hurt you. So, So we have an opportunity, and I'm sorry I'm long-winded today because I'm just exhausted, so I'm rambling. We have an opportunity to shift energy. And that's what Michelle and I are really just talking about.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mhm.
We're shifting energy that doesn't serve you. We're shifting energy out of your physical and spiritual body, giving it to God, giving it to Christ for him to carry, because you don't need to carry it anymore. It's not yours. Most of it wasn't yours. When you were born with like whatever it is that you're born with, and answering that question about that child that was born with disease, wasn't his to begin with. Never was. So why are you owning it? If you have a disease or you're something, whatever, and you think, oh, I have it, and I'm hearing this loud and clear, I have this disease because so-and-so had it and so-and-so had it. No, you don't. You have the disease because you think you have the disease.
Yeah, you chose it.
You chose it.
Mhm.
And Chris said how it's in our field. Disease is in your field at least 5 years out. At least. So stop it. Because I hear someone talking about this right now. Stop it. You don't need to do this anymore. You're living someone else's life. And it's not yours. And so once you choose to get rid of somebody else's belief systems and just kind of get comfortable with what yours are, which, by the way, you're going to have to explore what those are, right? But in order for you to explore your own belief systems, you're going to have to get rid of everybody else's first. Just saying. Boom chakalaka.
She says, drop the mic.
Yeah.
Well, and Chris actually made my other point when I was saying that I have a few takes on this. Yeah, she made my other point.
Okay, is this it?
Yeah,
I would also add choose to enter that way for the growth we're looking to receive. Totally. Go ahead. I mean, do you want to
and then the next one is just the same as we're choosing our parents for particular reasons, the good and the bad, what we perceive as bad. The reason this point is important is because certainly we don't want to create more guilt in the parents. Yeah. And that, thank you, Chris, because if your baby was born with something, it does not necessarily mean that you caused that.
Exactly.
It does not necessarily mean. And that's why I said I have a couple of takes on this. One of them is that, yes, because there are plenty of people that has happened. They feared it and it happened. And they say, see, I knew it was going to happen. Well, did you know it was going to happen? Did you predict the future, or did you cause it to happen?
Right. And if you're a master manifester, right? If you're really good at manifesting your life, the good stuff, know that you're equally responsible for manifesting the bad.
We attract everything.
Yep.
We attract everything. So it doesn't matter what you're experiencing now. You attracted it one way or another. You chose it. And so what Chris is saying is, if you had a baby that was ill, yes, check yourself. And that child may have chosen, just as they chose you as their parents. And this is where I talked about before. We could have an entire show on this, of how we incarnated here on this earth and how our souls chose to be here and who they chose to experience this life with. I mean, it answers a lot of questions about why would somebody choose to grow up in poverty versus wealth across the continents versus America. I mean, all sorts of things. So do not beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up if you have an illness. In fact, that's going to make it worse.
Oh, thank you. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So forgiveness is huge.
Huge.
Okay. I had an epiphany the other day. There were certain people that kept, I take demons off of people, right? And there were certain people that kept on getting their demons back. And I'm like, that's weird. Right? Now I already knew that when you get an entity, a negative entity, it's because you're having these low vibrational thoughts. Okay. And so it's an entryway, typically through your cervical spine, your C1 and C2, right where the atlas sits, that they come in. Well, here's the thing. Same with the demon, but it's worse. So you have to be, what's the word I want to use? It's there's a specific word I had that was given to me. It was in the Bible. Hold on one second, because it's let me just see if I can find this. Hold on. So in the Bible, it talks about self, like it's not self-deprecation, but like almost like self-abandonment. You know what I'm saying? Like you're let me just see if I can find this.
Almost like you give up.
Self-condemnation. Here it is.
Self-condemnation.
Here was the download, because I actually typed this one out. This person had an issue with self-condemnation, especially like when receiving feedback. So this self-condemnation allowed the demon to enter and take over the physical and spiritual body. And so then when you looked it up in, what does that mean biblically? The condemnation means to pronounce to be guilty, to sentence to punishment, or to pass judgments against. And Satan is called the accuser of the brethren. And so, and what does the Bible say when you, does it say, I don't condemn yourself? It says, blessed is the man who does not condemn himself by what he approves, but the man who has doubts is condemned if he eats, because he's eating not from faith, and everything that does not come from faith is sin. So meaning that if you're focused on all the negativity, you're playing for the other side. That, I mean, and you know, I'm not a Bible bumper by any stretch, but I'm trying to explain that if you are focused on negativity, you're basically playing for the other side and allowing that frequency of demonic possession, negative entities to come into your field. And that's your choice.
Well, and you know, just going to, even if that's not the route it takes, the law of attraction says it. Whatever we focus on expands.
Yeah.
So if we're going to focus on the fear of getting sick, you know, like for instance, I'm around hundreds of people every single weekend in public.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure the germs that people are carrying are plentiful.
Yeah.
Plentiful. So if I went into every single weekend thinking, oh my gosh, I'm probably going to get sick. There's so many people going to be out there. There's so many germs. Well, guess what? Monday morning, I'm probably going to wake up with a sore throat or something, because I'm focusing on that. I'm focusing on negative. But if I go in taking care of my body physically, yes, there is that part of it as well, but I'm positive and I don't dwell on that, then I have a much higher chance of not being sick on Monday morning, because I'm not focusing on the negative. So
right.
This wraps that up about our mindset. We can be informed, and I think this is important as well. We can be informed of our medical history. We can be informed about disease and illness, and we can still keep ourselves in a high positive vibration.
Well, yeah, I mean, because so thank you. Can I add to that?
Please.
Yeah. Keeping yourself in a high vibration, knowing about disease and illness, and even having thought processes about it. I'll give you an example. Like you can tell, like I tell my health story, but I don't have energy around it. I'm not sobbing about it. I'm not having guilt. I'm not having shame, which is 20 on the vibrational scale. I'm not having these low vibe. I'm just like, hey, this is what happened here, right? You keep it here, keep it up, and use it as a tool, but don't let it use you. So what do you want to be, the dog or the tail?
Yeah, I mean, you can actually tell your story in a neutral energy. It doesn't have to have any energy around it.
Well, it can have some humor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it can also be neutral because these are just facts. So just like, okay, what's going on in our world today? Okay, well, if you take that in and you immediately close up in fear, or you kind of drop down to the depressed level or whatever, then that's one way to handle it. But if you take in the information as, okay, it's just information, okay, I'm going to stay neutral about it, and I'm going to go on my merry little way and continue on my path doing what I know that I was meant here to do, and that's a positive vibration that's way up here. That's going to be a whole lot different than going down into the lower vibration of that information. So information doesn't have energy on it. It's what we put on it.
Yeah, with the energy we put out. Let me ask you a question. What are one of the ways, because I'm sure there's more than one, that you can recommend to people to not put energy on their stories?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it's kind of weird because I've never really, I don't want to say never. I don't often put energy on my stories. I very often just think of it as neutral. And because I know that the emotion, because here's the thing, I might give you information about something that happened to me, and you might feel one way about it. Another friend of mine might feel a different way about it, and I might feel a completely different way about it. So we all put our own energy on it. So what I have just learned to do is, if I'm telling a story about the past, now, what I have learned to do, and this doesn't happen perfectly every time,
right?
If I'm experiencing an emotionally charged situation, I do my best to step back from that without reaction and look at the full picture. And I do my best to go in here first and say, okay, why am I experiencing this? Why did I attract this? Because I know I attract everything into my experience.
Sucks.
Why did I attract this? For what purpose did I attract this? And then when I can do that, immediately the emotion starts to discharge, right? And it starts to become more neutral. And then when I can see it, oh, this is why, this is the lesson that I was meant to learn in this, then it is much easier to detach the emotion, not only from the situation, but that I probably put on someone else in the situation, right?
Yeah.
And then I can step back and say, okay, got it. It's nobody's fault. You're not wrong. I'm not right. It just is the lesson. It's neutral.
Well, yeah,
So-
and what you're describing is, in my opinion, is the concept of being the observer.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
yeah. So if you and I learned how to do that a few years ago when because I in a past life I was burned at the stake. So I was told, okay, be the observer. So you don't have to feel the flame, you don't have to feel the anger, you don't have to feel the shame, you don't have to feel any of that. And so if you can take yourself out of the situation, sometimes easier said than done, trust me. So go for a walk, then take yourself out of the situation. And be the observer. I mean, and that's really what you're talking about. And so from a tactile approach, really go for a quick walk, like down the street or something, and then try to breathe, like close one nostril, breathe in, get oxygen to your brain, because when we get an upset, we actually stop breathing. Makes us angrier. Fuels the fire. Not your fault. So those are just a couple things. And I think that really what you're saying is, is so spot on, So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So this is how you get in touch with Michelle. This is how you get in touch with me. Please text me or email Michelle. Text for me 847-738-0242. Michelle and I have the event on Thursday. It's 111. We're going to do a 2-hour healing session, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for 2 hours. You can join us via Zoom, or you can come here in person. I'm in Kennesaw. I'll help in Kennesaw, Georgia. Shine your light, right? Let's strip away a few things so you can shine your light. And then tonight for $33, we have the Global Quantum Healing, and it's just, to me, and let me just kind of give you an idea. I had my biggest month ever in February in the history of my company because of and I attribute it to the quantum global healing, because we removed the topic for that one was stepping into your power. So and the money just keeps on flowing in. So if financial abundance is important to you, honesty, transparency, those things, $33, that's a pretty good investment. And it is a monthly investment, but you can cancel at any time. So if any time you don't think that you're getting the value, which would be hard pressed, but if you don't, we're going to, we're surrender, Someone wants to say hello.
Hello, girls.
And you've got birds in your background. Do you hear that?
Oh yeah. They're here all day long. It's wonderful. In fact, yesterday I was in a coaching session with someone, or 2 days ago, and one landed right outside my window and was talking. I was like, oh, well, here you go. There's somebody talking to you.
Yeah. And so that's, when birds show up, or you want to look up the type of bird, find out what their spiritual meaning is, because the universe is talking to you. Remember, we talked at the beginning of the show, like they'll hit you over the head with that God hit me over the head with a 2x4 to let me release a frequency that they didn't want me bringing into today. Right. So it was handled yesterday, just in time. But the point is that, like, we have chameleons that show up, and they're talking about being agile, and there's specific birds that are talking about, family and community, and other birds, depending on the type of bird, might be about renewal or abundance. So look up, find out what kind of bird it is, or what kind of animal it is. Look it up, find out what the universe is trying to tell you. Explore, start looking at the things that are in front of you. Right, Fakey? Says, yes, mommy. By the way, I want to go back. We have a couple minutes before we end, but I want to go back to the EMF situation. Pulse electromagnetic frequencies neutralizes out electromagnetic frequencies.
So what are those, Jodi?
Pulse electromagnetic frequencies is it's like a sine wave. It's a healing energy. We use it. It's in our beamer. So we have a beamer. We also use the cloud, which is another pulse electromagnetic frequency healing device. So, but the beamer has a sleep cycle, so it can run like for 8 hours, 9 hours. So one, we are now sleeping on our beamer. Number two, I let the beamer run all day long now for 9 hours. Why not?
Love it.
All I'm saying is get creative.
Yeah.
You don't have to suffer. And I was suffering. And I want to tell you, and I want to own it. I made myself wrong first. My fault that I'm gaining the weight, although my diet never changed. And so I'm just going to tell you that, first of all, stop making yourself wrong. Because if I'm doing it and I'm a mindset coach, you are too.
Yeah, and it's I mean, obviously we want to look at ourselves. We want to look at what our habits are, what is our mindset, all of those things are important. And part of that is asking to be shown the answer. So sometimes we can be given the answer, and like Jodi said, we might get signs from the universe, little signs, and we're ignoring them. And so sometimes we have to be hit over the side of the head with a 2x4. And sometimes it's not our doing. Sometimes it is something outside of our doing that is a learning experience. And thank you, Jodi, for learning this for the rest of us.
You're welcome. Well, and here's the thing, like, what people don't know that when I was 235 pounds and inflated, like really swollen and had a lot of inflammation, I still thought I was beautiful. It wasn't until I lost the weight and then gained the weight that I thought.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And the thing is that we go into blaming ourselves for these things. But I want to just say this also, like, here's the thing. You can't blame yourself. First of all, are you going to blame yourself for the electromagnetic frequencies that are on your wall or the wiring that's incorrect or whatever? I encourage you, if you're listening, I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel. Go to Susan Essentials and please subscribe. I actually never ask that. And you have one too. So I want you to go to, Michelle, what is your YouTube channel called?
Well, I asked that they actually go and get on the list to receive my meditations.
Yes.
Yeah. So
which are great, by the way.
If you just go to, thank you. If you just go to my website, www.rockstarcoach.org.
Just right here, everybody, if you're looking. Now,
yes.
Listen, we have a lot of listeners on right now.
www.rockstarcoach.org. There will be a pop-up and just type in your email address. I will not contact you other than every Monday morning you will receive an email to your inbox with the meditation, the monthly or the weekly meditation. So yes.
Yeah, you can also follow Michelle on the Rockstar Coach on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so yeah. What else?
The information on your YouTube channel is
thank you. So there's these things, and then Google or do a search on EMF. Thank you. I got it. Do a search on the EMF, and you'll see we're measuring the EMF in our home, and there's other ones on EMF. And someone saw the video and said, hey, don't you have those Altera neutralizers? Shouldn't that neutralize it? It neutralizes the wiring in the house. Doesn't neutralize what's going on outside the house. Doesn't neutralize what's going upstairs with your neighbors. You still have to use oils. You still have to use PEMF. You still have to use all these. Bring in a lot of plants into your house, okay? Bring in plants. So you have to take a multimodal approach because number one, it's a silent killer. If you listen to Dr. Mercola, he's like, it's the cigarettes of the 21st century. That's what he's saying, because they're not even regulating it at this point.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous. I mean, it's really dangerous.
Well, not only is it not being regulated, but it's being pushed.
It's being pushed under the radar. And I'm just going to let this out. And I know we're about a minute over, but bear with me. So everyone's, and this is a distraction. They're complaining about the 5G towers going up. And the 5G towers are an issue. I will get to you in a second, okay? The 5G towers are an issue. I'm not debating that. But I'm also telling you, they're putting little 5G, we'll call it devices, in the street lamps where you live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's under the radar. And it's in your light bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changing the DNA of your food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just telling you, you can argue all you want about the 5G towers, but you got to look at everything else. And then you have to look at solutions, and you have to look at a multimodal approach, because it's not a one and done.
Yep.
Okay. Jagla has a message because she's biting me. So what do you
Obviously.
I know, right? Got it. She says, but the number one thing is to love on yourselves first. Love yourself first. She says, stop worrying about what everybody else is talking about. Stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. She says, focus on yourself and self-love. She goes, and come to the classes that Michelle and Jodi are telling you. I love you. She's hilarious. Anything else or no? She goes, no, that's it. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you, Michelle, for being on the show. I'm so grateful to have you here once a month. I don't know if you know that.
I do know that, and I appreciate it. I always enjoy the discussions that we get into. I am not a surface talker. I don't like talking on the phone. I am not the person that will talk about the weather for 20 minutes. I want to go deep. If I'm going to talk, if I'm going to take my time to talk, that's just me. I want to let's get to the meat of it. Let's talk about issues. Let's talk about mindset. Let's talk about all these spiritual things. And so, yeah, being in this energy and the people that we attract that contribute to the shows as well, it's always just it feeds my soul. So thank you.
It feeds my soul too, and I love you, and I so grateful to have you in my life. So thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you everybody who showed up today on all the different platforms that we had. We're grateful for you. And we hope to see you tonight on the Global Quantum Healing. We hope to see you. We do have a limit we don't have a limit for tonight. We do have a limit for Michelle and I, and the class is filling up fast. So, that's Thursday. And be sure to, send me the text because I'll be able to get you the link pretty quickly. 847-738-0242. We'd love to have you at either or both events. And Bagla thinks it's important that you attend.
Yes, obviously.
Into self-love mode. All right. Let's see here. Where's that little brand thing? She's laughing at me. She's, Mommy just does not know how to.